So I was thanking to everyone joining this webinar today. The intent is to present you the recent work on the Seeing the Invisible project. It's a co-founded by European Union project, and the intent was to develop different ways and applications and user guides for the students and teachers with low vision in the school education. As I was saying, but I was on mute, if you have any questions and you are gathering any points that you want to comment on, please write them in the chat. At the end of the presentation, we will try to respond as much as possible, and if not, we will revert back to you with the responses on all of them and all the comments. Moving on, the Seeing the Invisible project is an inclusive digitalization for low vision students in school. And I will try to go fast through the project presentation. The participants are different. We have this evening a special guest invited from the RedTree making projects, which was the corporation doing mainly the project. All the rest here were contributors, and we worked together. We brainstormed to find the best way to met the benefits of the work here. So, Luis, thank you very much for joining. And I will, if you need to jump in any of the moments, please feel free, because many of these things are handled by you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good. So the participants for the projects were the RedTree, as mentioned, Small Codes, which is from Italy and developed fully the applications, and the Aniridia organizations Europe, Italy, and Norge that were coming as partners, explaining exactly the needs of the students and the teachers in the schools, and mainly to brainstorm on how it's better to look the application and how exactly to meet all the needs with feedbacks, brainstorming, different sessions of improvements, and so on. The scope of the project. The Seeing the Invisible came out as with a main objective to provide support to teachers of students with low vision. We all know here in this audience how important it's to have to meet their need and to help them in the primary and secondary classroom. And therefore, we tried to bring out the benefits of digitalization and how to come up in this situation. The main areas that this project covered are three. The first one is the Teachers Support app, which is available for iOS and for both Android. This app will, and I will detail a little bit more, will allow teachers to teach their classes directly through the students' devices. Have different features, this application on both iOS and Android, and it helps a lot the teachers to provide different resources to the students, to create a classroom, I will show further on. A second part is the e-learning virtual course for teachers, which is providing a specific understanding and the full booklet of abilities and understandings to how to meet the needs of a student with low vision by promoting an inclusive and innovative environment in school education, obviously. Third, but not the least, it's an app with another 11 applications developed by Association ALBA for low vision students. This is very nice and interesting because it helps a lot the low vision students in different areas where it was very, very difficult, and it is really difficult to manage, like math, chemistry, languages, sciences, geography, and so on. This includes also small tests and applications, both for teachers and students. Starting with the first area, which is the Teachers app. You will receive also the links for the apps after the webinar. Has different functionalities for and advantages, obviously, both for teachers and for students. So this is how it looks like. It has different sections: tutorial, informations, news, registrations. So the users have access either with a username and registration, but also on offline. So some of the resources of the application are available without a user and the password. But if you are joining through a user area, obviously it allows you to have a little bit more in the application, like the virtual courses, to work together with the teacher and the student, didactic unit builder, so the teacher is able to build his lesson and to give access to the students. This software, it's aimed for the teachers in the last years of primary, but mostly in the secondary education. The application, as said, the main intent is for the teachers to provide resources to their students in a digital way. It's fully adapted, and it helps the student with low vision by receiving this information from the teacher. As mentioned earlier and visually mentioned there, the teacher is able to create a virtual classroom. The student can access the classroom even if it's not has not yet the application, through the link that the teacher can provide on any other different app. Yeah. The app is also enabling the teacher to create their own didactic units in a digital format that can be further disseminated to colleagues, to obviously to students, and allows and facilitate the Learning Act. The main advantages for the students are the main one, which is the digital and adapted set of tools, which is highly helpful for the low vision students. It helps them to achieve full inclusion in the classroom and to educational success, obviously, in the current complexity area. The app will allow multiple areas, as I was mentioned, different areas for teachers, but also for students. Will help them with the schemes, with concept maps for different areas of interest, for timeline and history, for geography, and so on. Map readers, which are quite interesting, and we all know that it's difficult for the low vision students how to read a map. And I recall that we have discussed a lot on this. With the generated materials in the secondary education, of course, if these are adapted to low vision, it helps a lot the students. Virtual classroom, again, it's an adapted environment and will improve the learning process. And it generates a process of reflection and learning, and improve a lot the relationship between the teacher and the student. Here are mainly the areas of the application: the public area contents that I was mentioning, which is available without a user, but also the user area content that is more detailed and comes with the features for the teacher to create the lessons and so on. In the forum and chat section, it's available the chat part where the teacher is able to interact with the student, but not only. They can open different topics that are important to be shared with other users, maybe discovering some resources, some links, some important information that is relevant to be shared with other users for a specific area of action that is needed for students and teachers. Last but not least, it's available the training courses, still available in the application. And this section links to the virtual course for teachers, which is driving me to the next area of development of this Seeing the Invisible project. The course for the secondary school teachers is an e-learning platform implemented on virtual inclusive education platform, which wants to bring an innovative methodology that seeks to complement training of primary and secondary teachers on working with students with low vision, applicable for albinism or aniridia, but not necessarily only these two diagnoses. This course is having also impact on different teaching communities in Europe, and enhance the training inclusion for students with low vision in the classroom. This is available, and this is why we brought different people from different countries to these courses to brainstorm and to understand exactly which are the needs across the countries. And different than the cultural ones and so on, are special needs available across. And this manual and e-learning course for the teachers tries to help them to understand the needs and how to meet them in the classroom, and not only how to help the student, how to understand better the situation and the needs, and to overcome the condition. The virtual the training and the e-learning platform, the training package, consists in 17 units. For now, it's only supported in English, but it's easier to be translated considering the current artificial intelligence resources that we all have at hand. As we have it in English, I think it's quite easy to make it relevant and easy to be accessed by teachers in any country. It's critical to have it visible, to make it to merchandise this in the schools, and all the teachers to use it. It's easy to translate it from English to any specific language.
Oana,
Of
one
course.
thing just, we are trying now to translate the course for other languages or European languages just now. I think perhaps in 15 days or perhaps a month, it will be ready.
Very good. Super news. Very good. Since it's quite long and very detailed, which is very good, we have as much as information as we need. The feedback of the persons in the project was that it's good to have also a shortened version, a starting point, let's say, just to engage the teachers in all the schools, and a shortened version to disseminate it as a first step for those teachers, because it's important to have all the teachers aware on why and what are the needs. For a teacher that definitely needs to go into details, we have the longer developed set of information. It will be downloadable, obviously, and the main objective is, as said, I will repeat and insist on this, it's to promote the inclusive, innovative, adapted school education for students with and without low vision, and to provide the teacher the specific trainings and insights on the needs and the consequences of the rare diseases with low vision. It's important for the students, but also for the teachers, because they are putting a lot of effort for an effective teaching process that needs to be adapted for the context. Last but not least, we have the app for the Android only for now, that is developed for the low vision students. This comes with 11 applications designed for students with low vision, so they can study and have some exercises on math, chemistry, languages, geography, and not only. Are enabling them to make presentations, diagrams, and to use the app on how and to learn how to do it easier, dynamic, in an adapted way. So it's easier for them. The apps are providing a checklist for teachers. The goal of this open education is to provide teachers with systems to verify and also to have the necessary adaptations done for an inclusive classroom teaching act. Yeah. Um, It's providing also a set of knowledge tests that are again adapted and are in a friendly format for low vision students. And the detection systems that facilitates knowledge of the main characteristics of the two diagnoses mentioned, aniridia and albinism, to facilitate the integration of these students in the classroom. Obviously, curricula are adapted to the standard ones, and it helped a lot the students to understand the basic information that are studied in the secondary, like the distances between the bodies of the solar system and the approach to the shapes and types of classical temples and orders. So are different areas very difficult to be explained in a standard teaching process. Not sure because I cannot see the screen if we have questions in the chat. Do we have any?
No, I think
No, we don't have any questions in the chat. Maybe we can now, maybe you can say some questions what we gathered before the webinar and answer
Exactly.
them. And
Exactly.
Luis maybe can help us in this.
Yeah, basically, I want to say the presentation was fantastic, but the main concept of the project is to help the teachers when they have low vision students. We have two ways to react for the teachers. One way is to think, oops, I have a problem. I don't know anything about that. I don't have a specific training for that. And the other one is, oops, I know what I have to do, but it's a lot of work for me. I have to change my didactic units. I have to change my methods. So the idea of this project is basically give to them everything they need to make easier the way to teach all of their students, the low vision ones, but also the other. That's the main concept of the project. But we have made a lot of results, as Oana said, and what the presentation was fantastic. I can answer every question you have. Don't worry.
We have here a set of questions that were gathered from our community prior to the meeting. And we can, you have them here, you can try to respond and have like a dialogue if the organizing team wants to step in, Galina, to comment anything. Let's start with the first one. How can digitalization address the needs of students with low vision in education? Luis, I think you are the best to respond here because it's better to understand where it started, the idea of the project, and how is the
Okay.
project coming.
Basically, the digitalization is the future of the education. So it's necessary not only for the low vision students, but for all of them. But also the digitalization gives us some answers for really heavy problems that some low vision students has. For example, to access to the classes, to the classroom, when they are on the hospital, or perhaps in rural communities, they cannot access to extraescolar classes, for example. The APP gives us an easy solution through the virtual classroom. And also, the digitalization allows the teacher not only to know how to do in the classroom with a low vision student, but also to share with other teachers of the virtual community their problems, their questions, and even find the help of experts of Aniridia, of Alba, and in many fields. They can help them to know how to do the lessons and how to make the class. That's basically the idea. the digitalization open us a new future, a new way to share, to learn, and to make the classroom more inclusive for everyone, low vision student, but another ways of disabilities.
Exactly. From the digitalization benefits every single student. And definitely it helps all of them in the classroom, and mainly the low vision students are more are included, obviously, through this. Good. Moving to the next one. What challenges do students with low vision face in traditional educational setting?
Okay. uh, okay. One of the main problems of that is because the teacher doesn't knows how to make the classroom, how to give the lesson, because not only in Spain but also in France, in Germany, and in Italy, for sure, there are not specific training for the teachers to give classrooms to low vision students. There are not specific training for that. So this is the main challenge, I think, for not only for the teacher but also for the students, and for the other students in the classroom, because when the teacher doesn't know how to give the lesson, it's usually to stop the classroom to make a bad lesson inside the classroom. That's the idea. So. The low student must have a teacher trained to give them the classroom, but also, or the lesson, but also they need to be included in the normal actions of the classroom. They don't have to feel that the low vision student is a special student with a different way to learn. Not just we need the specific tools to allow them to reach the educative goals. That is basically the main challenge, I think. But also, it's normal that to overload specific barriers, we need to create specific tools. And that's the idea of the project. We have created APPs for the teachers, but also for the students, for all of them, not only for the low vision students, to learn maths, chemistry, history, geography. The idea is that that app is not used only by the low vision student, but they are used for all the students at the same time. That's the idea. I don't
Good.
know if it's clear.
Yes, very clear. Thank you very much. I understand that we have questions on chat. So let me check the first one. Is the app both for students and teachers already available for iOS? Is it free or there's a subscription fee?
Okay, the main the main question for me is that it's absolutely free. It's absolutely free. It's for everyone who need it. Basically, we have two apps. The main one, the most important, is the we are calling it the virtual platform, the virtual learning platform through mobile. This is basically for the teachers. The teachers will find inside that platform is the O1, the first result that we have seen in the presentation. It's basically for the teachers. There are many tools linked with the needs of the teachers, as the unit builder, the chat with another teachers, and something like this. If the teacher wants, as you say perfectly in the presentation, if the teacher wants to make a virtual classroom, he has to invite the students one by one. And the students don't need to access through the APP, because basically the APP is for the teachers and not for low vision teachers. It's for every teacher that has an low vision students in his classroom. This is in iOS and in Android, in both. And also, we have created many educative resources. Most of them, there are also another apps, a small one, just to learn many subjects. Now, there are in Android version, but we are working hard to prepare them for iOS version 2. I don't know.
I think it's clear, and if it was responded, if not, please add it on the chat. The second one, what is the plan to disseminate this information more widely, to bring it to the attention of all schools, teachers and parents of students who might benefit from the app? It's a very good question. Thank you, Katie, for addressing it.
Okay, I'll try to answer, but you are Aniridia
Exactly.
Europe, and you are
We
the
will complete,
most
yes, after your
important
response. Exactly.
organization to disseminate that
Exactly.
results. For our part, we are trying to include in the dissemination the national agencies of the Erasmus Plus program, and also we have spoken with CEFIRE, is that the Department of the Regional Education in Valencia, Spain, for adult teachers education. It's a department to teach the teachers. And so we have spoken with them to include our resources in their training, in the training of their teachers. And also we have spoken with some ministerial educative representatives from Spain to present them the results and to try to promote the dissemination for the schools in Spain. And finally, we have spoken with Greta Network. Is the biggest network of schools in France, and we are trying to promote the results inside the schools that become part of Greta Networks. That's basically the things we have made, and also
you
social
captured
media
perfectly.
and something.
Sorry? You captured perfectly all the points, and it's very few to add. But just to complete the answer, definitely it stands with the national association in every single country to disseminate and adapt somehow the message, and the way it can be done in every single country, because it needs to be filtered on the needs of a system, but also in the communication and relationships that every single national association has with different learning system and so on. So it's our job now, the national associations, to disseminate in the best way that we need in our countries will fulfill the need, and will reach as much teachers as needed. I hope this answer to your question. We will send obviously the documentation. We will send you the links. The information, it's available, and it stays in our hands, as mentioned, to engage and to make all the teachers aware in schools, different events, national events, meetings, local, national. It depends a lot also on the growing associations. It depends if an association, it covers a specific number of members, fewer or more. Will iOS version be available in Russia because of the sanctions?
Oof. I don't know. Sorry.
Yes,
I have no idea about that.
also because with iOS it's difficult in general, also for Europe. I know it was a hard enrollment for the iOS. It's hard to predict, yes, if in
of course,
Russia.
but we have not through iOS or Android store, we have the apps and the platform in executable files. So if everyone in Russia wants or needs to use the apps, just send us a mail and we can send him the files to be included inside the mobile. It's not an easy procedure, but it's possible to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have the apps been thoroughly tested? What's the process for providing feedback to further improve the apps?
Okay, we had in the project some pilot tests. I hope many of them will be have been made by you, by the people from Aniridia Europe and Italy and Norway. And also we have tested in many schools in Spain. Basically, it's our main field. We have tested by 20 teachers here in Spain, and the results are really good. There are something to improve in the platform, something to be to make better, but the results are really good, and they are really happy with them.
Good. And the second part of the question, is there any process to provide further feedback to the developers?
What's the process providing feedback to further improve the apps? I think these projects are something live. We need to use the apps, and perhaps in the future, if we find some problems, so we have the possibility to fix them. So the more important thing for the project, but I think for you, for the beneficiaries, is to try them, to see if they are interesting for you. And if they are not, don't use it. Don't. It's easy, but perhaps you will find a really interesting tool that it can be used not only for the main purpose for the apps or the resource for the project, but also for new ways to use them. For example, when we have spoken, when we have thought or about the app on the virtual platform in the first step of the project, we don't think about the lessons outside the schools. But in one of the meetings, the representative of Aniridia Norway told us the possibility to use it in the rural areas to allow the low vision students to have private classes from teachers through the virtual platform. It was a great idea, and it's a really good way to use an innovative use for the platform. We have created many results, many apps, one virtual platform that it can be used by the way you need. That's the idea.
Good, clear. There are two more questions, but mainly were responded. Let's take them because it's easy. Is the content adapted for a person with low vision? I think we responded already. It's adapted for not not for, it's intent for teachers having low vision at classroom. But in general, and Luis, let me know if I responded correctly.
Yeah,
But
that's
yes,
the
it is
idea.
adapted color-wise and so on. Yes, it has the features friendly for low vision.
We have made a virtual platform friendly for low vision, and we have made many other resources like the open educational resources, for example, that it's fully adapted for low vision. Because the idea is the results for the low vision students, not only for them, but for all the students in the classroom, are the open educative resources and the APPs to learn mathematics, geography, history through digital procedures. And the virtual platform is mainly for the teachers, not low vision teachers, normal vision teachers, but the teachers who have in their classroom some students with low vision.
And I think your response included also the response for the last question. Good. I think that was it. If no other questions, I think we can close the event. We are looking for the feedbacks, obviously. Use it. And mainly the most important part, it's disseminate as much as possible in your contexts, in your area of interest. It's very, very important to have the content tried and used by the teachers in school to enable and help the students with low vision. All the people gathered here in their positions, patients, parents, teachers, in whatever position you are key pillars to disseminate this kind of information, application. It's a help. Let's appreciate it. I would say definitely it has a lot to improve. And these are subjects to further developments, obviously, because we are in the era of evolution. And feedback, it's a gift. It's important to try them, to use, to take what is good from the apps and from the booklet and everything that we have discussed here, disseminate them, and I think it's more than nothing. It's important, again, to reach the educational act in any way and to improve it as much as possible. And as my last sentence, let's improve together the quality of education resources for the low vision students in all the European schools. Thank you all for joining, for the questions, for the interactive participation. And special thanks, Luis, for coming here and responding to everything.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.